come on here and say a few things. And a couple things I want to talk about with Grandma. I got some stories with Grandma. And there's stories that not even I feel comfortable telling because she's not here, but I'll tell them anyways. Um, I don't know how this story came about. All I know is that this one made me laugh a lot. It made me laugh a lot. Where do we start? No. I was in school still. I believe I was in 6th grade or 7th grade, somewhere in there, somewhere in that note. And Grandma waking up, getting us up ready for school because, we'd get up at 7, get out to the bus at 7:30. There's that. And anyways, we're getting ready and Grandma's nodding off, falling asleep. Well, she wakes up for a second, hands us a disc just to say it's a bagel, and say, put this in the toaster, put butter and syrup on it. I said, I'm gonna try to keep my composure and try not to cry because this is my favorite story and I love this story. I'll tell this story forever. So, after we get done and we tell her mom it's a CD, it's not for the toaster, she's like, no, put it in the toaster, put butter and put it on bread. I was like, okay, Grandma. So we go do that, and keep in mind, it is now 7:17 a.m., okay? 7:17. We're still getting dressed for school. Like, I'm in the process of, like, finishing up my shower and stuff, you know? And she wakes up. She wakes up, and the first thing that comes to her mind, she looks at me and she says, Damon, you know I love you to death, but son, but what in the godly fuck is this? I said, Grandma, that's your bagel you wanted. And she goes, it's a fucking CD, Damon. I asked you to go make me a bagel, put butter on it, put it in the toaster, and then bring it to me. I did not ask for this. I said, Grandma, to be fair, you were asleep talking, and you had us make you this. So here. And Grandma's like, this is not what I wanted. What the, why? Um, Another good story of mine. God, I love this story to death. I will laugh at this story to the day I die. I swear this is the funniest story I'll ever tell. I'm home alone. Grandma's out at the bar, and she comes home. Door's locked. I locked Grandma out of the house. That I did do. I did. Twice. I did that twice. I should have got my receipt for it, but I didn't. Love you, Grandma. You know that. But I want to come on here and tell a story because Grandma, she was a wonderful soul. She made me the man I am today. Um. Anyways, back to the story. I walk her out of the house. Or no, the door's not locked. This is the first time the door's not locked. I unlock it. She's like, "Hey, how you doing?" She's drunk, obviously. I was like, "Great, Grandma's drunk. What do I do?" Keep in mind, Papa's at work. I'm the only one home with Grandma. Well, with Grandma now home. We get her home. I get her home. We get her inside, and she starts dancing. I'm like, Mom, please don't embarrass yourself. Please, just don't embarrass yourself. Anywho, she gets done dancing, and then she says, I'm ready to go to bed. And I was like, all right, Mom, I'll take you to bed then. All right, let's go to bed. And she she gets in bed, and keep in mind, this was when the living room now was their bedroom back then. She gets in her bed, she hollers for me, she's screaming my name 4 or 5 times, she's drunk off her ass, all that. But the funny part about it was, Grandma looked at me and she said, Damon, this isn't my bed. I was like, Grandma, this is the bed you guys slept in. This is the bed you guys had. This is your bed. She's like, this ain't my bed. I'm like, Grandma, it is your bed. It is your bed. Dad gets home. Now, keep in mind, this is late. It is like, I want to say 1:30 in the morning. It was. Dad gets home. I come out of my room, look Dad dead in the eyes, and he said, "Oh, there's gonna be more of that when Grandma does it again." So this is the second time. She goes out the second time. This time, I lock her out of the house. I locked her out twice. Well, I unlocked it the first time because she wasn't so drunk out of her mind and everything. But the second time, the door was locked. On the door, I see a truck pull in. It's Grandma. I was like, oh, great. She's drunk and driving. What the hell? Why is my viewer count going up? Those people that are people that are watching. What? Okay, thank you guys, whoever's watching it. But yeah, and then Dad gets home. Dad's pissed off as all hell at me because I locked Grandma out of the house. He looks at me and he says, "Why did you lock your grandmother out of the house?" I said, "Dad, to be fair, she was drunk and I did not want to deal with it." And he said, "Son, that's no excuse for locking Grandma out of the house." I said, "Bullshit, Dad. What else you gonna tell me?" So, that happens, and we get all past that. And then, what was it? There's another good one in there I wanted to tell. Where is it? I know it's here somewhere. To whoever's watching this, thank you for watching, by the way. It's a hard story for me to tell, but, it's okay. Anyways, so we get past the drunk part of Grandma, we get past all that. We go to my school graduation. Now, keep in mind, this is 2018. May 2018. I'm about to graduate. Grandma, of all things she says, she perks up real smiley, real bright, and says, "Now, when they call his name, I will not shed one tear." One tear. I looked at Grandma because the following day, they came in to watch us rehearse it. And I said, "Now, Grandma, when I actually go up here, are you going to cry?" And she said, "No. But I am very proud of you. But I am very proud of you." I said, "Well, I'm happy you are. I'm proud of you are. Glad you are. Glad you're proud of me." So we get up there, they call names, and they get very close to my name. My grandma's already wiping her eyes, already messing up her makeup, all that type of crap. And my aunt's like, "Mom, are you really about to cry?" And she's like, "Nope, I'm just really proud of him." It comes to me, and the announcer says, "Next graduate, Damon Lee Partington." And my grandma, God rest her soul, bawls her eyes out. Camera's shaking, taking videos of me, and the camera's shaking, like, you can tell it's shaking, because the way she's holding it. And then we just, and then county fair comes around. Now, keep in mind, 2018, we're still in 2018. We're still in 2018, okay? Still in 2018. Still in 2018. Still dealing with that. It then comes to county fair. Now, keep in mind, this is my last county fair, and then I went to my first state fair. My first time going to state fair, but I'll tell you that in a second. About that in a second. Anywho, do I have any people that are no? Okay. Anywho, we go to county fair, and Grandma says, "This time I promise you, I won't embarrass you. I won't cry." I said, "Mom, if you cry, it's all right. It's my last year of 4-H. You're fine. If you cry, so what? So be it." That's not what shocked me. What shocked me was, now keep in mind, my papa is not a crier. Or so I thought. So I thought. He usually, puts the sunglasses on so you can't see him crying, You know how papa is. But I get done, and Grandma's bawling her eyes out. My Aunt Jennifer's bawling her eyes out. My aunt's bawling her eyes out. My Uncle Kelly is bawling his eyes out. And my cousins are just looking at me, smile happier than hell. And my cousin goes, "Wow, you made your grandma cry." I was like, I wasn't trying to make her cry. You know, Now let's go to my first year state fair. God, I hate this story to death, but I'll tell it. I'll tell this story. I don't care. I'll tell this story. I don't care. Anywho, so first year state fair, long drive up there because it's an Indy, obviously. Long drive, horses in the trailer, butterscotch and Jack. But here's the thing. Tell me how. Okay, like I know announcers are supposed to do their job right and everything, and I know they're supposed to they're supposed to know what they're doing and know what they're saying. Tell me how I fuck up my barrels, fuck up my flags, but yet I don't knock over no poles. Tell me that. I was getting ready for my flag class. Now, this is the very first class I have. It's the very first class I have. And we have numbers on the back of our shirts, they say your number, then they say your name. Every time they said my name or number, Grandma bawled her eyes out. I looked at her, I was like, Mom, really? She's like, I'm sorry, it's your last year, it's your first year state fair. I was like, okay, Mom, that's understandable, that's fine. And but I go to my flag class. Now this is my very first class. I'm nervous as all hell. Okay? I'm nervous as all hell. I pick my flag, go around the barrel like usual, but I don't stick it. And they're like, I'm sorry, Damon, that's in no time. And I'm beating myself up. I'm already upset. I'm upset already. And then I go back to my stall, where my horse tack and shit is. And my aunt's up there, and she's like, no, bub, you gotta go back in real quick so they can give the winners the ribbons. But you don't have to stay out here every time when they do this. You don't have to. You can go in if you want. I said, no. I'll stay out here. It's fine. I ain't worried about it. So they gave us all the ribbons, and I'm heading back to the horse trailer, or I'm heading back to the stall with my horse. And we're walking out of the stall. Nikki meets me halfway. Grandma's in her wheelchair because she's had bad back surgeries, and this was before she could walk. And she says, well, I'm proud of you. I said, I don't know why you're proud of me. I got this look on my face like I screwed up so much, like I'm the worst person in the world. I already don't want to do this no more. State fair can already go to hell. I'm tired of it. No, no, it wasn't that bad. When I told Grandma I quit, oh, that was horrible. I am at my stall, getting ready for my barrel class. Was it barrel or poles? It was barrels. Barrels. I came ready for my barrels class. When, out of nowhere, my papaw shows up. And he's like, what's this I hear about you telling Grandma you want to quit horses? I said, I just give up, Dad. I can't do this. He was like, son, can't ever do nothing. And I said, alright, Dad, understandable. That's fine. So I go off for my barrel class. Well, as I'm getting the rest of the way dressed, because we had to go to the bathrooms, because I had to take a shower the day before I started riding. So, showered, got real clean, everything, we're good. And then I get out from my barrels class, and I'm still to strut. I do my barrels. And again, they say, Mr. Damon, we're sorry, that's a no time. So again, I'm beating myself up inside. Again, I don't want to do it. And I look up at my grandma, and she still got tears in her eyes, and she mouths the words. I said, I couldn't say anything because I was crying my eyes out. I said, I went, okay, Mom. I get done with barrels, and I'm already distraught. I already want to quit. I already want to sit down. I already want to relax. Nope. I go back to the stall again, and I said, and I'm just sitting there talking to myself, and my aunt walks up to me. Well, then my best friends walk up to me, and I said, when the hell did you get here? I haven't seen my best friend in a long time, and I didn't think he'd be there. He'd show. He showed. I'm like, when the hell did you get here? He was like, obviously I'd get here before your next your next ride. I was like, well, you done missed my flags. He's like, no, I was here for that. I was like, you missed my barrels? He's like, I had to go to the bathroom. I'm like, that's understood. I was like, but you're about to see my pole class. And he was like, that's the class I wanted to see you in. I said, all right. I said, well, I can't be let in because at State Fair, they are not allowed to lead you in at all. State Fair, not allowed to lead you in at all whatsoever. So I go in for my pulls, and I'm going down around. I'm weaving through them, and I go back around, and they gave me a time of 17.414, but I didn't place. And it was okay, but I was still distraught. I was upset. I walk back to the I go back to the barn, and Grandma says, "I'm proud of you still. You did good today." And I said, "Thank you." I'm on a live.
Huh?
I'm on a live.
Live what?
YouTube live.
What that mean?
I'm going live on YouTube.
Oh, you know me.
Anyhow, where was I? Oh, right. So I go back. Now, keep in mind, County Fair you have 3 classes. State Fair you have 5 classes. 5. Well, pulls was my 4th class, because it went flags, barrels, pulls, keyhole, and dash for cash. Keep in mind, I was not going to do dash for cash. No, Nikki signed me up for it. Thanks a lot. And she goes back to sit down, some big smile on her face. She's laughing, she's giggling. Grandma's like, "What the fuck's so funny?" And she's like, "Mom, you'll never guess what I did. I signed Damon up for Dash for Cash." And Grandma's eyes go huge, like they're bulging out of her head, and she's like, "You signed Damon up for Dash for Cash at State Fair? Are you serious?" She's like, "He'll do fine." And she's like, "Nikki, there's world-class athletes out here. He's not gonna place." Never doubt your son, Ma. Never doubt your son. I do my dash for cash in the quickest time possible, a 23.213, and I placed 3rd. Wasn't first, wasn't second. I placed 3rd. I'm bawling my eyes out. I was like, well, at least I placed, but it's 3rd place. I don't want a 3rd place. And so I go back to the barn, I go back to the barn. It's intermission. They're getting stuff ready for the next 6 classes. And I go sit down and I go eat something. Well, we're getting ready for my next class, which is keyhole, and they're like, "Where's Damon at? We haven't seen him all day. We can't find him." What they didn't realize is when I got off my horse after I got done practicing, after I got done warming up, I took a nap in the stall. Well, I wasn't in the same stall with him. I was in my tack stall, because we have horse stall, tack stall. So I made me a little bed in there. Well, it's 2 minutes close to call time for keyhole, and they're like, "We still can't find Damon." Well, then they walk into the barn, and the first thing they do is walk straight to where I'm at, and they find me sleeping on a horse blanket under me, another horse blanket under me, and a couple pillows under me. And I just made me like a little mattress futon, whatever you want to call it. I made one of them. And I said to myself, and I'm sitting there sleeping, and they're like, "Damon, you gotta get up. It's about call time for keyhole." I said, "Great, another class that I'm just gonna fuck up in." And they're like, "Well, you've done good your past couple classes. I mean, you placed in Dash for Cash." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the one thing I place in." And then, when we go on from there. So State Fair is over with. We get done. We pack everything up, take the horses back, and I'm just sitting in the back seat, just rocking my head. Upset, not talking, rocking my head. All that. And I open my eyes and I says to myself, remember, I could do anything I want as long as I choose to. Well, the year becomes 2023, and this is the year that I would officially, you know, would work on some stuff. So I finally do, and as I used to play sports when I was younger. And, grandma took me to sport. Grandma took me to football. Grandma took me to wrestling, basketball, all that. I was a huge sports fan, and I still am. Guilty as all charged. Still am. And but my first football game, I get hit, flipped up in the air, land on my ass. I get up, look at the guy that hit me, and I look at the guy that hits me, and I say, and of course I had mouthpiece in, so you couldn't understand what I was saying. And I look at the guy and I say, "Is that all you fucking got? Is that all you got?" And he was like, "Okay, I'll hit you again then." So we go up for kickoff the second time. Now we're already down 14-3. 14-3 we're down. And it goes kickoff. Well, we're kicking off to them. This kid catches the ball, hurdles over a couple of our guys, and I straight tackle him, and he falls to the ground as hard as he can. He's like, "Now I think I know why they call you the tank." I was like, "Well, the correct term is bulldozer, but you get the gist of it, okay." He's like, "Yeah, I understand now." And I said, "Good, you should." Well, let's go to my wrestling meets. I wrestled. Well, I didn't wrestle. I got to train them. I couldn't wrestle. I got to train them. Funniest story ever about this one. You'll hear it when I tell it, when I get up to it. I become a wrestling manager. So I'm doing their laundry, making sure their stuff's in the right lockers, all this and that. And I believe this is 2017. I want to say it's 2017. Yeah, 2017, because I was a junior. Yeah, I was a junior. So I get done and we get ready for our first meet. Well, this was the time I was still dating my ex. Yeah, I'm not gonna go there. But I'm not gonna say her name, but I was dating my ex at the time. We have our very first home meet, which was every team all there. It's a huge tournament, and it's basically, I guess you'd call it a sectional, but it's like an invitational. So yeah, we had our home invitational, and this was before I got my Letterman's jacket. I'll tell you that one too, because that's a good story I want to tell you. And so I'm up in the weight room with everybody. We're getting ready and everything. And and this was practice. This was the practice before the invitational day, because the invitational day is Saturday and we had practice Friday. So I stay at school, for wrestling practice and get all that done. Well, as we get done, I text my cousin. I ask him. I said, "Hey, what's your weight class again?" And he says 195. Why? I immediately do this. I was like, "Oh shit." He's like, "Why? What's going on? What's wrong?" I said, "Well, have fun." He's like, "What?" I said, "You have to wrestle David." He's like, "As in your toughest guy?" I was like, "Yep." He was like, "What's his weight?" I said, 195. He's like, "Oh, shit." So, it gets the invitational. My ex is getting impatient because I'm down there with the guys. I'm not paying attention to her. And my grandma repeatedly has to tell her, "Brittany, he's busy. He's busy. He's busy." Like, over and over. Well, then it comes to the interval where we can go get something to eat or something, and I'm still out on the mat. Grandma looks at me and goes, "You want anything to eat? We're going over to the stand, to the concessions." I said, "I'll be out there in a second. I got money. I'm good." So they get their stuff and then they can't find me. Well, I went to go get me something to eat in the concession real quick, and then I came back. Needless to say, Grandma did not enjoy waking up so early to take me to all those. And Grandma, if you were here now, I would say I'm sorry that you had to take me to all those. But I'm glad you did. Fast forward. Now, this is, I believe this is our dinner. This is one of our dinners. I can't remember what dinner it was. But anyways, we had an award ceremony and a dinner. And I didn't know I was getting recognized at all. Like, nobody told me a thing. All David told me was, hey, you're going to be up here with all of us when they get ready to call out awards. So when you get up here, you're just going to stay up here. I said, okay, it's fine. So they get ready to call out the first award, and it's a Letterman's award. And of course, I'm awarded for it. And they're like, no, wait, David, that's not all we have for you. Hold on. It's not all we have. I said, okay, well, okay. So I'm standing there, and they hold up this big jacket, like this big, like it was covered. Obviously, the Letterman was covered. It had to be, because it was a surprise for me. It was covered in this black, silky, looked like a briefcase, but it wasn't. It was basically covered in a bigger hoodie. They take the hoodie off of it, like taking the cover off of a car, like that, and they pull the zip down, and they said, Damon, I'm pretty sure you know why you're up here. I was like, no, I don't. No one told me anything. All I knew was I was getting a Letterman. They're like, jacket. I said, what? Like, you're getting a Letterman's jacket. I said, what are you talking about? My coach pulls down this zipper that has the jacket inside. It's beautiful, by the way. I still have it. It's in my room. Beautiful as can be. It looks so nice. And I go to put it on, and they're like, you look nice in it. I said, thanks. And a couple of cheerleaders flirting with me and everything else. And I'm like, thanks. And get ready for school because it was a Sunday that we had that meeting. And then I had school the next day, Monday. So it hits 7:30. It hits 7. I get up, get dressed, get in the shower, get ready for school. I go in school wearing this nicely clean, fresh Letterman's jacket, and I'm getting looks. Like, they're not bad looks, but they're looks of, wow, this is the most popular kid in school. I want to be this kid's friend. I was popular in school. I was very popular. As time went on, I graduated and I told all my teachers bye. I didn't cry at all until I got to my main teachers. And as soon as I seen Maggie and Kylie, I lost it. My friends are walking by me. My best friend's grabbing my hand, making sure I'm okay. And she's like, you'll be okay. You'll see them again. I'm like, yeah, I hope so. Like, dang. Fast forward through that. This is the first day I got my first job. This is when I got my first job. And they hand me this thing, and they say, Damon, you're going to go be a dishwasher for 10 plate. Now, keep in mind now, that was in 2017, 2016-ish year. We're now almost to 2027. We're in 2026. Keep in mind that when I graduated, I made sure everybody was there. I did. I made sure everyone was there. I made sure everyone's seen me. Everything. It's fine. It's normal. I eventually looked up at my teacher and I said, I don't know why they're doing this for me. I really don't. And they're like, well, they're proud of you. I'm like, well, obviously. And well, then it becomes senior night for basketball. Now, obviously, I was manager for basketball too, but I didn't wear, I didn't wear my Letterman's jacket that day. I did not wear it that day. I wore a plain red shirt, or I would think it was a Frank Eagle shirt and dress pants. Yeah, Frank Eagle shirt, dress pants. They bring me out there, and I'm surrounded by my whole basketball team, and they're shaking my hand, giving me hugs, shaking my hand, high-fiving me, telling me congrats, all that. They handed me a basketball, signatured. Well, first I got called down to the counselor's office. Now, keep in mind, I've never gotten in trouble in school. Not once. Not ever. There's an embarrassing moment of school, but that was preschool. I never did it again. I won't even tell you what I did, because it's kind of on the, not PG. So, anywho, we where was I at? Oh yeah, guidance counselor. So, well, I'm sitting in my first period class, which is I believe I'm doing math. I believe it was math class I was in, and all of a sudden this was third period. Yeah, third period. What did I have? Third period. What did I have? I had gym. I had gym third period. Now, keep in mind, I caked myself with deodorant by the time I got out of gym because I didn't know when I was getting that call, that receiving call. Well, then I hear over the announcements, David Parton can come in the guidance counselor's office. David Parton to the guidance counselors. I'm like, ah, I got some guidance counselor's office, and there stands my basketball coach, my basketball team, my mom, my grandmother, my aunt, my papa, my uncle, my sister, my cousins, and I'm just like, the hell is all this? And Rylan looks at me and goes, well, buddy, since you've been helping us out a lot, I figured we'd give you something in return. They gave me one of their official basketballs that they use for the games, and I still have it. I still have it. Believe me to this day, true story. Still have it. And I'm like, well, thank you. I'm like, well, this ain't all you're getting. Wait till tonight. That's tonight's senior night. You're gonna be there, right? I was like, of course I am. I'm like, senior night, of course, I had to go. So I go. I go up there, and I'm again surrounded by my basketball team, surrounded by everything. Surrounded by my basketball team, surrounded by everything, you know, all this and that. And I, Rylan hands me this ball, and it's got a Franken Eagle on it. It's got all the stuff on it, but it's not just a regular ball. It was a commemorative ball, not a commemorative. How do you say that? Oh, it was a congratulations ball. I got a congratulations basketball from my school. Yeah, and yes, still have it to this day. So that's three things I got. Well, then Rylan hands me this plaque, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, I wanted to spoil you, but I got one. I know you said no more presents, but I got one more for you." I said, "Oh, jeez." I said, "Rylan, what is it?" He's like, "Well, for that, you're gonna have to come to the locker room." Now, the locker room is where I always went after school because I talked to the team for a bit before they went for practice. And I went to every game, and yes, to this day, I still have my state ring, so still have that too. 2017 state champions, yes, sir. Anywho, we we all go in the locker room, and Rylan hands me this plaque. I said, "What's on it?" He goes, "It's got your name on it." I said, "Well, I know that, Rylan. What's it for?" Like, appreciation of gratitude is what he said. I was like, "Okay, appreciation of gratitude. Got it. That's good to know." And he hands me this, and I'm bawling my eyes out because in on the wood it's got engravings, Damon, assistant basketball coach. And under coach, it says family friend. And I thought, which one of you boys put that on there? Rylan literally starts laughing. He goes, raises his hand. He's like, I did it. I said, oh, of course. He's like, well, why don't you have something special to remember us all by? I'm like, okay, thank you. And now I have it all. But that's all I wanted to talk about. You know, I wanted to come on here and say a couple things about Grandma, and then I wanted to call it in there. There was no video today. I just wanted to do this live because you guys mean a lot to me. I want to make my fans happy. I want to give back to my fans, you know. Especially having 4 people watching that. Holy crap. Anywho, that's been Damon. I will do streams again Monday. But I'll see you guys then, and I'm out. Bye, guys. Peace.